November 9th will, of course, be a great set of fights as Jesse Bam Rodriguez will defend his WBC belt against the WBC interim title holder, Rivera. And Jerron Boots Ennis will defend his fully instated IBF title against a former rival, Karen Chukhadzhian. Now, of course, we'll be talking about the Bam Rodriguez fight first as it's the co-main event. But we'll be calling this guy Pedro a little bit more. I don't feel like butchering his name. He's 42-4 with one draw, 22 wins by way of knockout. Not really known for his power, but for his heart. Of course, he is coming off of the split decision win against Andrew Maloney. 26-3 for the interim belt. Of course, that had a little bit of controversy by Maloney. I'm pretty sure he's the one that complained. I don't think it was his brother, but yeah. But his 4 losses have all come by decision, obviously. First one came against a 16-2 John Rael Casimero, 16-2. Yu Kimura, 17-2, split decision, and that was for the title fight. Matter of fact, actually, he was a former world champion. I did not mention that. He first lost against the IBF light flyweight world title holder. He then won the vacant WBC light flyweight world title and defended it quite a bit of times until losing to Yu Kimura. He then attempted to regain the light flyweight title against Kenshiro Teraji, which he lost by majority decision. His latest loss was split decision against Carlos Cuadras for the interim super flyweight world title. But now he's faced 3 out of his 4 losses are pretty good losses. Actually, he only lost a champion, or at least future champions, as he lost to the IBF champion. He won the WBC belt, of course, losing to the future champion Yu Kimura, and losing to the champion Kenshiro Teraji, and losing to a former champion in Carlos Cuadras. Now, of course, pretty good win. Pretty good win. But, of course, he's taking on the young sensation Jesse Bam Rodriguez, 20-0, 13 wins by way of knockout, coming off of one of his best wins to date against Juan Francisco Estrada, stopping him in the 7th round. Now, of course, he's done a lot. He has faced some future Hall of Famers, and he has unified the belts in the flyweight division, and he is a 2-time super flyweight world champion. I do believe he holds the Ring Magazine belt as well. At only the age of 24, this dude is crazy. This dude really just randomly jumped up 2 weight divisions to fight Carlos Cuadras, beat him to win the vacant belt. That's crazy. And then he's beaten Sarisaket Sarumbasai, I believe that's his name. And then Sonny Edwards to unify the flyweight world title. Dude, this is crazy. Which sucks because Pedro is most likely going to lose by stoppage. Look, he's a good fighter. Former champion. He's faced nothing but the best. And you see some of the decisions. Some of them probably should have gone his way. Split decision against Carlos Cuadras. Majority decision against Teraji. Split decision against Yu Kimura. And split decision against Casimero. He literally has not really lost unanimous. But unfortunately, he's probably going to get stopped. Bam Rodriguez is too good, especially if he doesn't get anything started early, because Bam Rodriguez randomly, within a round, he just starts whooping your ass. I don't know how it works. This dude really just flips it into like second gear, like within a round. Like, it's crazy. This man's good. Now, of course, let's not say Jesse Bam Rodriguez is impossible to defeat. He's unstoppable. He did somewhat struggle against Sonny Edwards, but of course Sonny Edwards did not have any power to really capitalize on the mistakes he was catching Bam on, right? He was dropped against Estrada, but he also wasn't really winning any rounds. Weirdly enough, he actually was losing on the scorecards, and one was tied. They're trying to rob that guy. Oh my god. Right? And people like Israel Gonzalez, if you could pivot with him, you can make it competitive. I just don't believe Pedro can pivot with him. I don't think he's going to be able to do that, and especially because Bam Rodriguez, he's only getting better. Unfortunately, he's only getting better, which is weird because you would think that he would, actually don't know what to do. Actually don't know, because they are quite a good set of challengers. Of course, Cafu defeated Kosei Tanaka, which I unfortunately did not upload a video, but I did technically say that Cafu was going to win. I was technically correct. Of course, you have the former champion Ioka, who is rematching Puma Martinez, which means he got stripped of his IBF title. Look, I get it. I like the IBF. It doesn't it prevents weight bullies, and it enforces mandatories. Who doesn't like that? It's just, they should probably slow it down. Undisputed fights and rematches of undisputed fights or unification fights, I feel like should be able to stall a mandatory. I feel like they should wait. They'd be like, okay, fine. We'll wait until the unified champion is truly decided, and then we'll mandate our mandatory, right? It's just, I don't know. But besides that, Baron Rodriguez is most likely going to stop Pedro. Screw it, I'm going to say 6th round. His angles, his footwork is all good. I mean, technically he is small for the size, for the weight class, but he makes it work. But besides that, a much more, which I believe is a much more competitive fight, Jaron Boots Ennis versus Karen Chukhadzhian. I think that's how you say his name, but we'll be calling him Karen from now on. But Karen is 24-2, 13 wins by way of knockout. He is coming off of 3 straight wins, 2 by knockout and 1 by decision. Now, of course, that decision win was, I mean, don't get me wrong, he won comfortably. It just wasn't the best, right? But the guy has only lost 2 pretty good fighters, so nothing to be ashamed of. Of course, he stopped the 18-1 Pietro Rossetti, which is still somewhat good because he's the only one to stop him. He has beaten some pretty decent people. He's not that bad. He's not a scrub. And of course, he stopped Michael Marcano, 29-7. That one a little bit less, as well. He's been stopped 10 out of his 13 losses, so probably not the best. But besides that, they have faced before. They faced when Boots Ennis was the interim title holder. Now they'll be rematching when he's the fully instated title holder. Now, of course, their first fight was a very weird one, as it looked like Karen was not really willing to engage with Boots for whatever reason. But of course, there is somewhat good reason. Of course, people believe that Terrence Crawford ducked Jaron Boots Ennis, which it's its own story. We may talk about that later. And he was the essential first new champion after the undisputed fight between Spence and Crawford. So obviously it's called the boogeyman. So obviously some people are going to be a little too scared, right? But besides that, he has some pretty decent wins. Nothing too amazing, to nothing that really truly stands out. But overall, a pretty good resume, right? And he's ranked number 9 in welterweight, which is not that bad. Of course, Jaron Boots Ennis, king of the welterweights nowadays, is 32-0, 29 wins by way of knockout. Of course, he was fully elevated to world champion after beating Roy Monvia. Now, after that, he was elevated, and his first defense was supposed to be against Cody Crowley, but it later got switched out for David Avanesian, where he stopped him in the 5th round. But of course, he has faced some good people. Of course, the former undefeated 19-0 and 1 Custio Clayton, he stopped in the 2nd round. That's pretty good. Of course, Sergey Lipinets, which is kind of where most people thought he was kind of exposed. Not really. And of course, after that, Clayton kind of took a very long break and then won split decision. So obviously, not really. It's all right. But he also did have a majority draw with Sergey Lipinets. So yeah, it's probably something, right? Of course, he's also beating Chris Van Heerding, some other people. 18-0 Armando Alvarez, 3rd round stoppage. Now, of course, he is known for his power, his fancy footwork, and his defensive prowess, which was shown in, of course, the Roy Monvia fight. Now, of course, that's a little different for the sole fact that Villa kind of throws looping shots. So I'm not saying it's easier to dodge because I'm not a fighter, but I assume they're easier to dodge. But besides that, the first fight, like I said, Karen wasn't truly engaging in the fight, which is its own thing, obviously. But to be fair, Boots can't cut off the ring. But then again, he's not known to be a pressure fighter, so obviously he's not really going to be putting too much effort in trying to close off the ring. But he did technically say that he was only looking for the knockout, which is weird because he has more than enough knockouts in his record. So I literally don't know why he was trying to go for it. Maybe because he was trying to keep a knockout streak, because before Karen, his last decision win was back in 2017. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, 3 people have only gone decision. One being Karen, one back in 2017. And before that was 2016. So obviously he's trying to keep his basically perfect knockout streak, right? But here's the thing. I'm going to say it. Karen's going to beat Boots Ennis. I'm going to say it. I don't care what people say. I believe Karen can beat Boots. Now, of course, Boots has been touched up in the Avanesian fight and the Lipinets fight. Obviously, he's not truly perfect in his defense. I mean, no one is, but he does get touched up. You know what other fight he got touched up in? The Karen fight. He got touched up a lot in the Karen fight. Whenever Karen engaged with Boots, he won the exchanges most of the time. He outboxed Boots whenever they truly, engaged with each other. But I do believe he was too scared, and for good reason, a little bit. Not really, because you're not supposed to be, that scared. You're supposed to try to actually win the fight, right? But he was winning the exchanges when they actively engaged. I do believe Jaron Boots Ennis's, aura, as people would say nowadays, has been kind of taken away. I think it's been shown that a lot of it is just smoke and mirrors. Now, of course, I'm not saying he's bad. He's still an elite fighter. I just believe Boots will overestimate his ability and underestimate Karen. I mean, he did beat him 12 rounds to 0. So obviously he's going in there with a lot of confidence. I think that might come up and bite him in the ass. I'm just saying that might bite him in the ass. Karen has to engage though. He can't run. He can't do what he did in the first fight. He has to engage. But the one bad thing about it is they will be fighting in Boots' hometown of Philadelphia, which means Karen's going to need a knockdown if he expects to win. He's not beating Boots in his hometown. That's just not going to happen. But I think he might be able to do it. Give me Karen by decision. Only because I've seen in the fight, Boots was getting outboxed whenever Karen fully engaged. Karen has great footwork himself. His chin, he's taking some shots from Boots. Obviously, he's taking it well. As long as he's not scared like he was last time, he should be able to beat Boots. But that's still maybe, because the most likely who's going to win is Boots. Whether he actually deserves a win or not is a different story. But he's most likely going to win decision because it's his hometown. They're not going to rob the hometown guy, right? You're going to keep him as a champion. But besides that, am I overestimating Karen's ability? Am I underestimating Boots' ability? What do you guys think? But anyways, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.